Well, hello, I'm Gareth Jones, and this is Craig Saravalo. We are Sleep In Cinema, which is an internet radio show on Substrate Radio. We're on Saturday mornings from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Central Standard Time live, talking with guests about movies. We are also rebroadcast on the NPR local station, WBHM, The Hub 106.1. We're rebroadcast on Saturdays at 11 a.m. and Sundays at 2 p.m. So lots of ways to listen to us. But this is part of our series of interviews with directors who have films at the Sidewalk Film Festival 2026. And we're extremely excited to talk to Troy Vetri today about Pigeon Religion. So thanks, Troy, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, the first question we love to ask filmmakers, and this, I think yours is going to be a really
This is the one that's the best. I've been waiting for this answer for a while.
Yeah, basically, we'd like to ask, well, how did you come to this story? How did you come to this story and decide this is the film I want to make?
Yeah, it wasn't the first on my list, and I am not. It wasn't naturally a pigeon person. This kind of came about. Long story short, I was working on a pilot film. We were shooting outside in the Upper East Side, and some lady walked out of her house, and like 200 pigeons like came out from the sky all over her, and we were like, "What the?" And so me and my friend ran over to her and like took some photos, and she's like, "Can you email those to me?" And we're like, "Yeah, sure." And then I was like, "Wait, like, can I come film you?" And she's like, "Yeah." And then kind of just like filmed her day in the life. Didn't know the visual language of the film. Didn't know I was making a film. But this is, freshly kind of like towards the, just in the pandemic, right after, kind of like towards the end of the pandemic. And just got done making a short documentary in the pandemic. And so, I kind of just filmed her day in the life. And then it's like, wait, I think we got something here. This is very peculiar, very weird story, and kind of just typed in pigeon on Instagram, found this lady called Mother Pigeon, and then filmed with her, and then started talking to her, and she's like, and I asked her like if she got her feed from this pigeon store, and she's like, "Oh, those are bad people. They catch pigeons and sell them to shoots and sell them to like chicken markets." I was like, "What?" So I go there, and the owner wasn't there, but this other guy was there shopping. He's like, "Oh, you want to go to the pigeon auction with me tomorrow?" And I was like, "Sure." And so kind of just like evolved into like, all right, now I have 3 characters in such a short amount of time, and kind of just kept filming with them, and kind of just lasted for 6 years, not really knowing the story, what was going to come about of it. Kind of knew I wanted to feature after, those encounters, but yeah, I kind of evolved into this feature. And, I think I didn't develop the visual language. I mean, I didn't use multiple days of filming the pigeon documentary in the film. Like there's the first few days I filmed with the people, I didn't really know the visual language of the film, but watching a couple documentaries by like this Austrian director, Ulrich Schadel, and this other documentary filmmaker named Carl Olsen, who made Meanwhile on Earth, they kind of like, I was like, okay, this is how I want to shoot the film. This is what I have. This is the story. And so, yeah, 6 years later, kind of came about, and yeah, now it's out, and I'm like thinking I'm done with the film, but never done. I'm just keep. I still want to film pigeon people. Now I'm like I'm a pigeon guy. Yeah.
Oh, so you're now a convert.
If I could hire someone to clean the pigeon coop, I would have a pigeon coop. Yeah, okay. And if I had a roof to have a pigeon coop, yeah. Or I mean, I feed the pigeons in the streets now. Like I have bird seed that I like feed the birds outside my house, and my neighbors have yelled at me recently, like, there's poop all over the place.
I was wondering about that side of it, because going to New York, they're everywhere, and I think the opening shot where he's throwing the seed on the sidewalk, and all the pigeons come, and it's amazing.
Yeah,
the great thing about documentaries like yours is it takes a very hyper focused look at something you don't think about in your day-to-day life. And pigeons is something they're just there. And you have taken it on, there's an entire subculture of folks that are obsessed with pigeons. And I would have never known this until I watched your documentary. So yeah, I guess, so now you have I'm assuming you have like a better look at you look at them a little differently now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's completely correct. I mean, and it's funny because you have like these two different counterparts of it, right? There's like, you think of like pigeons that, think of Home Alone lady, right? New York City Home Alone lady
Yeah.
feeds pigeons in the streets, like at the parks. And then you think of like Ghost Dog, the guy who has pigeons on the roof, and you're like, they're completely two different and kind of hate each other in a way
Yeah.
too. And that's kind of a sad but also great part of the story. I mean, and I don't know, like having the first screening, the premiere at Rooftop Film Festival, we had some people come out and that were in the film, and unfortunately they're like, we liked the section about feeding the pigeons in the street, but we hated the people that fed them on the rooftops. And the people that on the rooftops are like, why do you feature those people that fed them in the streets? And I'm like,
yeah,
it's kind of the point.
Well, I mean, that illustrates that you do well, is that they're serious, and there's like rival factions, and it feels a little dangerous at some point. Where, do you ever feel that? I mean, were you welcomed in all of these little cliques that you like, the auction or the, I mean, these guys are pretty tough and passionate.
Yeah, there's one guy that's not featured in the film. It's like the store I was talking about, Michael Scott, and he's kind of someone I kind of like strayed away from. I mean, he's been nice to me. I like went and out to lunch with him and went to the pigeon auction with him one day, but very like cold, like, so I that was kind of like, and he was the person that like is like accused of pigeon netting and stuff and by mother pigeons. So, and I was going to go into that world. I also thought this documentary was going to go into like a detective mode. Like, I'm going to film these, go to these, there's these like pigeon shoots that happen in Pennsylvania, right? And so like instead of like clay pigeons, they're actually pigeons.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like people would go in New York, trap pigeons, let them out, and people would shoot them for fun. And I thought the whole documentary was going to be about that until it kind of got very peculiar and arbitrary. It was just like kind of took its own, it briefly mentions about the pigeon shoots and that stuff in the film, but it kind of like goes in its own direction, and I kind of just let the film take its course. But yeah, at first though, there's like, kind of like a little bit, at first trying to build rapport with people, you're like, of course. kind of like, a little nervous.
Well, I mean, you just seem to get so ingrained in this culture, which I never even knew existed again, that I'm assuming that they welcomed you in at some point because you had pretty good access. It's fascinating.
Great people, made good friends.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, we've touched on this a little bit, but this is such a distinctly New York story, but it also has this really universal feel to it. With how we relate to animals in our world every day. And you had all these different stories, and you've talked a little bit about how you decided which ones to tell and which ones not. Because I imagine you have hundreds of hours of footage after 6 years.
Yeah, too much.
Could you tell us a little bit about that process of editing it down and deciding, okay, whose stories do I really want to tell? Because I imagine that was challenging.
It was very, very challenging. So luckily, I got an editor on board. I tried editing most of the film myself, and then got to a point. I think I was like 3 years in, and my partner, her cousin, made the Dawn Wall and Alpinist and Dark Wizard, and I was talking to him, and he's like, "Yeah, we've been in like the editing for like 3 years," and I was like, "What? 3? We're cutting my film in a year tops." Like,
right.
And then I got an editor on board, and kind of it was 3 years of editing. While we kept maintaining a shoot, and as him and the editor, he was like stop shooting, like, and I was like, well, we don't really have an end to the film, like, we want to find these resolutions between, and also, it used to be 8 characters. I cut a character out. It was like a pigeon flyer, kind of going to make it my own short about that, because I was like, all right, this is getting too crazy, too much. But yeah, the editing kind of was like, okay, start out editing each single day, like make an edit from every single day, paste that in. We have 2 hours and 30 minutes of footage, right? We have this long film. How do we cut it further? And there was, you have to kill your darlings. And it was very, very hard to cut that down to an hour 30. And then even an hour 14 was the hardest part of it, and which ended up cutting a whole character out. And that was very hard. But the editing process, thank God, Evan Halleck, shout out to him. He's And then I got a producer on board that were just so vital to the edit itself, like just getting feedback and cutting it down. It's just couldn't have done it without them. They helped shape you make all these puzzle pieces when you make a film, and kind of what's the puzzle, what's the big picture. And sometimes when you're just doing it yourself, it's kind of hard to see that bigger picture. So yeah, just with help of Jenny and Evan, we're just the producer and the editor, were kind of everything to make this film what it is.
Did you shoot it yourself?
I shot it myself. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I shot it with a Sony FX9, FX6, and FX3.
It looks fantastic.
Yeah, it does. It looks amazing.
Thank you. I mean,
oh, go right ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say, I shout out to, I had a good colorist as well. I had a friend at Company 3 color it, and
Nice.
it was kind of really turned it to life, actually seeing it get colored, because me shooting it myself, I was like trying to color it in like the roughs, and I was like, like it really driving you crazy. But no, I definitely color really made it.
Yeah, it looks
really good.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask if you're a native New Yorker.
No, I'm from Florida, and Fort Myers, Florida. I went to school in Orlando. That being said, I don't know if I've ever noticed a pigeon in Florida. And even moving to New York, I don't know if I've ever noticed a pigeon. Like, you see the, Home Alone, but never really like paid attention to them until I've met Nita, the first character in the film, when, I met her on the street. But yeah, kind of.
That's amazing you met her on the street.
Yeah. Seems like fate.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's great. I mean, she's amazing, but she's kind of like a whole, she tells you all these crazy stories, and, I wrote this like biography on Saddam Hussein. And you're like, what? But then actually ends up she did. And like, she said, like, oh, I was friends with Salvador Dali. Like, sure you were. And then go into her house, and she has like drawings of Salvador Dali that he gave her. It goes further and further than that. Like, she's so.
That is so interesting.
We talked
because we were talking about that. Like, how much of that is real? Like, what
it's
is
all real? Like,
yeah.
And I used to think everything she was saying was fake. I mean, I'm sorry, Nita, but yeah, like, and then you like realize, and you do research, like you look up Nita Renfrew, and she's like well-established journalist, like lived in Israel, lived in all these like places, right. And like journalist, like everything that she did is she's telling the truth. And
to see someone dedicate literally their life to the wildlife of New York. In a way, it's a little like you're taken aback. I don't want to say it's nutty or kooky. I mean, it's just a different way of looking at, and again, that's why you're like, is that real? But obviously she's so passionate about it, and that's what she wanted to do. I love that you caught that. And the Trachtenberg family.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Which Arrested Development, the family band episode, based off.
That's where I saw them. Oh my God.
Yeah.
When they came on, I was like, that guy looks really familiar. And I don't know if I saw them on tour or if what, but thank you.
Yeah, no, they're legendary, and they are so fun to hang out with. And Jason's probably the funniest person I've ever met in my life. And yeah, it's like, it's hard because like, pigeons, and it's like, most people are either hate pigeons or love them. And I have one of my best friends in New York. He's a sound guy, and I was trying to get him to run sound on the film, and definitely afraid of pigeons. And so I did sound on the whole film myself, and it's just like,
okay.
It's funny.
If he's a native New Yorker,
I get it.
What kind of interactions they've had.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I was going to ask you too, since this takes six years to make, and you open up the film showing kind of the things that people, buildings that are built to repel or kill pigeons. Did you see, even in that time, a difference in the pigeon population or how people interact with pigeons? Because it was probably a little different during the COVID, and then maybe things have evolved.
Yeah, it's funny because before this, there were a lot of like, I think they were trying to get it passed, like a law passed in New York where you can't feed pigeons and squirrels. And which, funny enough, the Trachtenbergs protested it. And like made a song about it, like feed the birds, and kind of the law didn't go through. But yeah, I just seen a lot of people, I'm filming these people, and then you see other people walking up and like yelling at them for feeding pigeons and stuff like that. The coop's a different story, but the feeding pigeons in the street, yeah, it's like people either are like, thank you. And a lot of it comes down like religious belief in a lot of ways, but then a lot of people are just like, fuck you, you like do not like them at all. So it's very funny.
I mean, again, I thought I'd put myself in that position and go, I would be so annoyed by this. But then by the end of it, you're like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, it's like, I don't necessarily want like pigeon feces all over my front yard, but then again, it's like it just washes off in the rain.
Yeah.
So yeah. Honestly though, if you have never been on a coop though, like on a rooftop, like Ghost Dog, like I mean, there is nothing like that. If you're just sitting on the coop, having a beer, whatever, cooking out, whatever you're doing, just hanging out, and they let out 1,000 pigeons, 500 pigeons, they're all flying, crazy sounds, but then you see a hawk or a falcon come, and then because they all go in swirls, right? They're all in the sky, and then you see this hawk and or falcon come, and they're all going crazy, like, and it's like, I mean, it's sad, but it's very, it's entertaining to watch. It's just like, it's the sounds of pigeons flying and being on the coop. It's very relaxing, therapeutic. I mean, the hawk and falcon stuff, not as much, but very entertaining.
Well, you probably also get this sense that this is nature, and there's not real. I mean, there's probably a balance of how do I let nature take its course, and if these pigeons are gonna get it, then that's just the way the circle of life, right? And then there's this protective nature of it. I don't know where that line is, but it's interesting that, again, that there are people that are really so passionate about these pigeons. You can't help but feel because they have this cause, they have this singular vision, and that's special. So it's amazing.
I agreed.
That you were able to weave that thread in the edit to get that through line of like, well, everybody's passionate about something. And pigeons.
I mean, the film, like you think the film's about pigeons, but it's about the people that care about the pigeons. And I mean, we brought pigeons here. We domesticated them. Brought them from Europe to the States, and they weren't just like street rats. We kind of pushed them away, but at first, they're so used to seeing pigeons in the cities that they wanted pigeons to be. Also, they're used for fertilizer. The poop was used for fertilizer. They used them for food, and also they just had a love for pigeons. And then we kind of abandoned them. The rock dove. But there's nothing different from a pigeon to a mourning dove. They're the same creature. Same with like they're just like a different breed, but like it's a dog's a dog, right? But yes, it's funny to learn all this stuff, but I mean, you definitely find an appreciation, and that's kind of what I hope people find. Is like there's all these different subcultures in New York, but I hope people find appreciation for pigeons, or just stop and realize like what's in front of them and be present. With
that's
like all these different subcultures. Yeah.
Well, you referenced Ghost Dog earlier, and I think you did a great job of describing from your own personal experience. When you watch this, there's this mystical, spiritual element to it, and the metaphor for existence. And I think you do a great job of also weaving that to what the pigeons mean to each of these people, and in different ways. And for some, it's a very spiritual experience. For some, it's very competitive. For some, it's companionship. And I mean, there are humorous parts, but there's also very, empathy building parts throughout this film. I think you did a great job of weaving that. And I imagine that came through the edit when you were filming all these things that you didn't necessarily, or did you have kind of like an idea of like, this is what I want to tell about pigeons? Or did that kind of come through these stories that you got to tell?
I would love to say I wrote everything out and had this whole idea of how I wanted the film to go, but that's not necessarily the case. It kind of, it happened throughout the edit. At one point, me and the editor had all these postcards that we wrote out every section and had it pasted on the wall. I had the editor fly in from LA and came and stay with me for a week. And we were just moving the postcards around from all these different edits we made from every single day. And like, kind of like, all right, what works here? What makes sense? And so we really were deliberate about like, what goes where, what makes sense? How does this section like work against this other section? And like, I don't know, just like the symbolism, and it kind of everything came into play. We try to be very intentional about everything. And it was I appreciate the kind words, but yeah, it definitely was a hard time editing it, but a great time, and didn't really think it was going to be as hard as it was though to get through and tell the story. And I was hoping, it's an art film. It's kind of fly on the wall, character development film, and it's not like this like super plot driven film, but I hope everyone can understand
it. Of watching that, like you said, the swirl of them and just the way that the rhythm of them, it's just not something you think about. So you've done a good service to where you go, maybe we should stop and look at these pigeons. So good job. Congratulations.
Thank you guys. No, I appreciate it.
Trying to remember when it's playing.
I don't remember.
You don't remember when it's playing, do you?
It's playing at the Lyric Theater on Sunday, I believe. I want to say 4:45, but it might be 4:30.
Look, folks, check your schedule.
Check your schedule.
Yeah,
it's in the 4 p.m.
Well, Lyric Theater is beautiful. So you're gonna. Are you coming to the? Will you be present?
Oh hell yeah! So it's funny. I actually, booked a golf trip to Birmingham, Alabama, like with some friends. I was doing like an annual trip. I went from like going on skateboarding trips and snowboarding trips, and now it's like we're getting I'm just going golf trips now. But
there's no shame. There's no shame.
We picked Birmingham, Alabama. Then we got into like a year ago. Then we got into Sidewalk, and it was like 3 weeks later. Like, oh, I'm going to Birmingham again. Great. So I'm excited to. We played at Ross Bridge in Oxford
That's a nice
Valley.
course. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I wish I had time to bring my clubs again, but really excited because kind of spent most of the time outside. So I'm really excited to go watch all these other films. There's a couple other films I really want to see. I'm really excited about. And I'm so happy to be coming back to Alabama.
That's
some
great.
Really good food too.
To say hi in person and to watch it again with an audience. And like I said, the Lyric is a beautiful space to see a film. So it's going to be fantastic. Hopefully we'll get to see you and say hi.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Yeah. Week and a half. Oh yeah. Week and a half. 2 weeks. Yeah. Are you guys? Are you guys going to be at the theater or just like at all the events and stuff? Or
we'll be as much as we can for sure.
Yeah. Heck yeah. I mean, awesome.
I don't know if you've been to the festival, but there's so
no,
many.
I haven't.
It's I get choice paralysis because there's so much scheduled in parallel that I'm like, what am I going to do? So yeah, it's a great time. The city comes alive. There's great places to eat downtown. You're going to have a great time.
Mm-hmm. I'm so excited. No, I'm really excited. Excited to meet you guys in person too.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks for talking to us. Really appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you guys.
All right.
All right. Well, I mean,
have a great fest.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks.
Bye.